Hey everybody, this is Mike with Asymmetrical Preparedness. Thank you very much for being here. I really appreciate all you guys' support, your comments, sharing the videos, liking, thumbs up, all the things. Thank you guys. I love you guys. So this video is about reducing your reliance on critical infrastructure. Why? We've seen recently, Christmas Day, right? What happened to Christmas Day? Nashville, right? That was an attack. Not really critical infrastructure, but we're made aware of how vulnerable our systems are. Remember a couple years ago, I don't remember exactly how long ago it was. I think it was in California, maybe the Los Angeles, San Diego area, I forget which, but somebody was sitting outside taking pot shots at a power station at like the, I forget which parts of it, but, and that did some damage, right? It's very, very vulnerable. Our critical infrastructure, our power plants, our power transmission lines, our power stations, all those kind of things are very, very vulnerable. Yeah, I mean, they have protections in place and stuff like that, some security and stuff, but basically it's pretty vulnerable. So the less we're reliant on it, the better off we'll be, because we never know when it'll go down. There's lots of different causes. You can have man-made causes like people doing things like that, bad people doing things. You have cyber threats. You could have, they could hack into it, cyber, and do a cyber attack, taking down the grid, or any other critical infrastructure things like that, associated with that. There's also EMPs. It could be a CME, which is a coronal mass ejection. It could be a big solar flare from the sun. It could be a high altitude nuclear burst, which causes a EMP. There could be many different causes. Also natural disasters. Earthquakes could damage a power station, making you lose power. Winter storms or tropical storms could take out and damage, portions of the grid. Let me see what else. Yeah, they're also vulnerable to sabotage. Earthquakes, storms, like I said, EMPs. So what do? Off-grid, right? Off-grid is good. And I'm not meaning necessarily off-grid power, but you can. Solar, wind, hydroelectric, those kind of things. We could set ourselves up, right? Or have backup generators, with fuel storage and stuff like that, although they'll only last so long. What I'm getting kind of is off-grid, meaning you're not reliant on the grid or critical infrastructure stuff. You don't need to have internet. You don't need to have power. Get yourself in a situation like that. If you're in a house with a wood stove, then you don't need power. You can cook on it. You can heat your place with it. You can do a lot of things. If the septic or sewage stops working, you can dig a hole and build an outhouse. Those are some things you could have in place prior to, maybe, depending on your rules, regulations, laws, all those kind of things. But less reliance on the systems that give us the things that we like. We don't need, but we like to have them. Humanity existed before the power grid, before septic systems, before sewage systems, before the internet, before all these things, natural gas pumped into our homes, all these things. We existed, we lived, so we can live without it. So in other words, try to set yourselves up so you're less reliant on critical infrastructure. Then, if something does happen, or when it does, because something inevitably will happen, even if it's a winter storm taking out a power line, dropping power to your neighborhood. I mean, it's going to happen. It just does. Hopefully it won't be catastrophic. Hopefully it won't be a big thing like I mentioned some of the other things like EMP or big natural disasters or sabotage or some kind of attack or something like that. It could be a foreign nation doing a cyber attack. It could be a foreign nation doing an EMP. It could even be a foreign nation sending operatives, boots on the ground, to destroy or disrupt our critical infrastructure. It could be damaging dams that produce hydroelectric power. It could be, damaging nuclear reactors to, take down that part of the power grid. There's a lot of different things that people can do and things that can happen naturally and man-made. So less reliant on the grid, on infrastructure, meaning like the supply of food to and from the stores, growing your own food, raising your own animals, producing your own stuff. Building your own fire bricks for fire. You don't even need firewood for that. I did actually that was a Patreon video. Sorry, it was believe it's today's Patreon video, actually. But check out that if you're interested. I hope I'm getting the point across. The less reliant, we will still have, I'm not saying don't use critical infrastructure. I'm not saying don't use the grid. Yeah, our freezers, our refrigerators, our cooking, stuff like that. Yeah, of course, use it when we have it. But let's try to move as far away from it as we possibly can upon having to have it. Let's be able to exist without critical infrastructure, without power. Self-reliance, not reliant on those things, outside the system, having the ability to at least. It is still nice. Yes, I like having internet so I can film this video, upload it, and talk with you guys. But I don't have to have it. Same with power. I don't have to have it. I got a wood stove. I can throw some wood in there and start a fire and bam, I can cook on it. And gas, I have propane. I have a big propane tank out front or out back. All I gotta do is light my stove top with a lighter and I would have my regular stove. I would lose my oven because it's a dual fuel stove, so my oven is electric. So what? You can bake in Dutch ovens, you can bake in pans. There's a lot of different ways you can bake. So, and you don't have to bake. You can live with food without baking. But anyway, yeah, start thinking about things like that. Start thinking about things that can get you away from the system, away from your reliance on these systems that are vulnerable. It's a fact. So I hope you guys like the video. I love you guys. Please stay positive, stay motivated, prep a little every day, work on your fitness, work on your health. Do the things, please. Be stockpiling food, stockpiling water, stockpiling seeds. Get your garden set up. Get ready for garden season. It's coming up. Get doing the things that can get you in a better situation so you can thrive, not just survive. Prepping is living insurance. Remember that. Big deal. I love you guys and blessings to you and yours.